This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author U and the Book Shepherd. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, top of the day, it's a beautiful, beautiful autumn day in Colorado, my home base, and my guest today is also from Colorado, and we work closely together. We've actually addressed variations of this topic before, but because of the ever-changing e-world out here, I think it's critical to come back, and especially because there's some new goodies, there's some new bells and whistles to the ebook arena. I can remember years ago when people were talking everything e and all print was going to go to hell in the handbasket, and that did not happen. In fact, the majority of books sold today are still print books. But ebooks are important. They should be a duality at least, and maybe you have a triology, if you want to call it that, with audio. But you should be thinking print and ebook. And even if you do a print-on-demand book for the paper side, so you have it to complement your e, it is just smart to do. You make more money. You give your reader more options, which everyone likes to have. And there's just a lot you can do. So we're going to be deep diving into what's new, what's hot, what's cold, what's old, what's new in the e-world. Joining me will be Nick Taylor. Nick is the principal, hi Nick, in Light and Sound Graphics, and he is actually the first guy we turn to when we want to make ebooks for our clients because he turns it around so fast, and he is able to get in graphics that really look slick and click for the viewer, so it's just not line after line after line after text. He's been working in the ebook side of the industry for over 5 years, which is like long term, right, Nick?
It's almost the whole time the industry's been around, yeah.
Oh, yes. It's really long term. As a writer, he's had a lot of success in marketing his own books. He is a best-selling author, and he writes in the fantasy line. His latest book is called Pactum, Pactum, which you can find on Amazon. And he's really savvy in the whole sphere of how to do marketing. And how do you take advantage of free days and use coupons, and which venues and platforms should you be up and about, and maybe which ones are a yawn and you should be avoiding. So that's what today's all about. Nick, welcome to the program. Are you ready to dive in?
I am. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. So, in our conversation, which piqued my attention right away, and I'm saying, man, we haven't done anything on kids' ebooks. We haven't talked about children's in the ebook world on any of our shows. So why don't we just hit that right out of the gate of what's going on? What can they do? What can't they do? And what's hot right now?
For sure. So we've had, for the bulk of the ebook marketplace, and I'm not counting the iPad here in the iBook store, which has always been very robust and able to handle pretty much anything you could throw at it. But the bulk of the ebook marketplace and the bulk of all that kind of stuff, kids' books have kind of been put by the wayside, predominantly because of their illustrations. And if you're a big press, you could sometimes get in with some pretty good products. But for indies and small presses, you're kind of hamstring. That changed about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Kindle came out with some new platforms for it, so getting kids' books into ebook is even easier, including comic books, graphic novels, manga, you name it, and they look almost identical to your print book. So they have all the benefits of a fixed layout book. So they have a lot of that, but the ease of reading. And Kindle actually has a new Fire that I believe started shipping. I want to say it started shipping last week, but they have a couple products coming out. One of them started shipping, and the other one's about to start shipping. And it's actually directed towards kids. It's the Kids Kindle Fire HD, and it's it's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. And so what makes it different is that you could have all those gorgeous graphics in there, and they're not. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Fire HD, the Kids Edition, is coming out with a couple cool features. It's only $150. It has a case on it that kids can drop. 2 years, no questions asked replacement policy. All of the parental controls people have come to know and love with the Fires, which means you can set how much time they play games and videos and even what time it turns off, all that kind of fun stuff. But one of the other big things that this edition ships with is 1 year free Kindle Unlimited, and it connects right into the kids' side of the store. They can't buy anything. They can download free stuff to their heart's content. But they can't buy anything, and they can only go to certain parts of the store, which means all of Kindle's kids' books that it has, and they're trying to pack this store full right now. They're really pushing hard for it. These kids can go on there and can go and download as many books as they like that are in the Unlimited program. So for your kids, you get the Fire for Christmas, you're basically looking at not having to spend that much money on books over the next year, and they can go buck wild downloading them.
So they don't need mommy and daddy's credit card where they could really go butt wild, right?
Yeah, thank goodness. Yeah, they don't have access to the credit cards, and you got to put in some stuff in order to purchase things, and you can open it up to the other store. But yeah, there's no going buck wild with our credit cards, thank goodness. But yeah, they can download as many books as they want, and as far as authors get paid, that's the same as the Unlimited program already is. So after they swipe through a handful of pages, you get paid, basically.
So can they cross, or are they limited to these freebie downloads in perpetuity? I mean, not in perpetuity, for 1 year. Can they, let's say that we have a precocious 7-year-old who wants to read Alive or her wants to read the Divergent series. Can they cross over and pick those books up too? Are they limited to a certain array of books and titles?
They can, but the parent has to be the one to actually go ahead and get that book and authorize that purchase for the kids, because it's all based around the parental controls. The idea is that Kindle wants to make it so that if your kid is on their Kindle, you don't have to be looking over their shoulder to make sure they're not doing anything dumb. But if you want to put something on there or give them access to something, that's something that you can do.
Well, here's an off-the-wall question. What if I was adult? I'm an adult, and let's say I bought one of these new $150 deals with a 1 year of freebie, and they think it's for a kid, and it's really me. How do they know? what if you're only buying adult titles?
I don't think they do, and I don't think they care. I think they're using the Kindle Unlimited for a year to sweeten the pot for parents. But in general, Amazon's pretty good about giving out free services like that to get people to buy new devices. I know when the Fire first came out, I got Prime for 3 or 4 months or whatever it was, or maybe even a year. I can't quite remember, but I don't think it's something. I mean, I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure you could get one of these and do that. I mean, the regular Kindle Fire is about $10 cheaper, and it's the exact same thing, just with a case and some software changes. So, and I don't know what kind of deals they have running with that Fire. It might have a year of Unlimited with it already. I'm not entirely sure.
Mm-hmm. Nick, I haven't seen any latest stats on what's the typical amount of books that are purchased monthly on the e-reader format. Are they out? I'm assuming they're out there. Are you familiar with them?
On some of them are difficult to say, because you can get some book scan kind of results that come in where publishing houses and indies and stuff come out and say, this is how much we have. And we know that that the Kindle market is about 60-65% of the marketplace right now.
Yes.
The big problem is that Kindle does not release their numbers. So we know that ebooks are around 30%, but we don't know the exact number being downloaded.
All right, so it's a secret. It's a secret. To know
right?
that.
Yeah, they're not very open about it.
Okay. So what we're hearing is that it's probably going to be the hot Christmas gift in families with kids, and they're probably going to be doing double ups because Susie isn't going to want to read Billy's, and Billy isn't going to share with Susie's because it might have cooties anyway. And
and it might be pink. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So Kids is new, and they're now programming exclusively for them, and they're going to be able to use the picture books. So Is this, Nick, is this a to counter the big tablet movement, or, I mean, is this going to take a hit? Because iBooks, it was my understanding, and you can tell me I'm wrong, that because most of the kids' book needed to be a more fixed format, that the platform they went to was iBooks. Is that correct?
It is. That's what they did. I think what Amazon is doing is they did this with ACX, which was their audiobook company that they purchased, and even the KDP program in general. I really, and this is nothing I have anything to back up. This is my own personal thoughts on it. Amazon is going after a different marketplace. They're going after a different set of people. The Fires, they want to move Fires. Fires are half the cost of an iPad, and with these cases and the replacements, they're a whole lot more durable, which combines to make parents want to purchase it. And then opening this up, this really opens up the floodgates, especially for small and independent presses, to be able to just go in, because right now a lot of the kids' books, you're kind of picking and choosing what you're going to put in that iBook store, which is such a small percentage of the marketplace, whereas now it's saying, hey, these kids' books are filtering down to every Fire that's out there, and phone, and everything that's running the Kindle app. So all of a sudden, this market that really kind of wasn't there before is
opens up.
And it's where it should be.
So if there was a children's book on iBook, does it have to be reformatted? Would they have to come to someone like you to redo it to make it Kindle friendly? Is a different program?
They're going to want it to be in. They need the Mobi file in order to do that. So if they don't have a Mobi file, that's the Kindle file.
Yes, exactly.
If they don't have that file, then they're going to probably have to come to someone like me or learn how to build those books.
Got it. So heads up, everyone, if you already have juvenile children's books on the iBook platform and you want to be able to do this, you need to get a conversion to Mobi. We're going to be right back. We're talking eBooks all session with Nick Taylor. I'm Judith Briles, and it's Author U, your guide to book publishing.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Many of us have dreamed of writing a book.
Some of us even have.
Then the hard work starts.
You'll need an editor.
Who will design the cover or typeset the pages?
Who will format the ebook?
If you're a business owner, consultant, or coach with a serious message and expertise to share, the team of experts at 1106 Design can guide you through the maze.
They've helped more than 1,000 authors create top-quality books and avoid the not-so-reputable self-publishing companies.
Learn more at 1106design.com.
Then call Michelle at 602-866-3226. 1106 Design.
Is there a book in you or another? Author U will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. Author U brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through Author U's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content-heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, Author U is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join Author U today through its website at authoru.org. Follow Author U on Twitter at Author U, and on Facebook at Author U, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. Author U, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
Every picture tells a story. And it's a truism that people do judge a book by its cover. Nick Sellinger and NZ Graphics have been in the business of producing superior graphic cover design and interior layout for self-published authors, independent and traditional publishers for years. He has developed a reputation for excellent work, fast turnarounds, and best of all, affordable pricing. NZ Graphics also produces eBooks and book marketing materials such as posters, sell sheets, postcards, bookmarks, business cards, logos, and more. Books designed for his clients have won multiple book awards, including Best Book Award by U.S. Book News, multiple Evie Awards from the Colorado Independent Publishers Association, Indie Book Awards, the San Francisco Book Festival Award, and Freedom Medal Award from Valley Forge. Visit www.nzgraphics.com or call 303-985-4174 for more details about making your book the success it should be. Mention that you are an FOJ, friend of Judith's, and that you heard about NZ Graphics on your guide to book publishing.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Nick Taylor, the principal in lightandsoundgraphics.com, and one of the people we refer a lot of our books for conversion into the e-format, is my guest, and we are talking the e-world today, and especially what's new with kids. So we've got the new Kindle Fire coming along that is going to be graphic friendly like crazy. It's going to have a hard case that the kids can't break in a nanosecond, and that it's going to be very friendly to whether it's comic graphics or just the fixed format you see with very young children. That we have. And then the huge perk is that it's got a freebie attached that for 1 year, that's 365 days, that the child can download as many books that are available as possible. And Nick, do you have any idea how many that they're going to have available? Is it going to be the whole array of children's books?
It's just going to be the books that are part of the Unlimited program. So that'll depend on what Amazon does with big press books, and that'll be on a contractual basis on what they're allowed to do. And then small and indie presses that have gone through the KDP program and have gone into the KDP Select program, those books will be available to select. There should be, as far as kids' books, I know in the whole Unlimited program, there's well over 100,000 titles, but I'm not sure what percentage of those are kids. But I know they're adding them left, right, and center with a vengeance.
Well, so I think that for all listeners, you need to pay attention. So to participate in the Unlimited program, what magic box does someone have to mark to do that on Amazon on the inside there? I guess it's going to be inside the KDP account.
I'm sorry, what's that?
So do you have to mark a special box that says I'm going to do?
Yes, you do.
You do. Okay. And is that going to be inside the KDP Select program?
Yes, that'll put that title in that program for 90 days. It is an exclusive program where you can only have that book in there, where you can only sell the e-edition on the Kindle store for 90 days. You also do get, with the Kindle Select program, in that 90-day block, you get 5 days where you can mark the book for free. If you want to do some sort of promotions or something like that, you can have the book free for 5 of those.
Okay, so if people are going to be in the store that their volumes can be downloaded, they have to be on the exclusive side with KDP and not just have their book up eWorld. Is that correct? Did I hear that right? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it's important to understand that. Those are some of those rules, little rules that you need to play with in that. And then if you were an author, Nick, let's talk about this. Let's say that I had a kid's book, and, and I don't have any of my own, but I certainly have clients that work with me that have children's books. And their book sells for print, say $16.95. And maybe the E's going to come in at, I don't know what the typical range, let's say it's $5.99 for a kid's book, or $4.99 or something like that. If it's unlimited, explain to our listeners how our author is going to earn a royalty, or are they?
So they will earn a royalty depending on what the reader does. So the way the unlimited program works is the same way that the Kindle Owner's Lending Library works through the Prime program. And what that is for KDP Select users, Amazon has put out a cash pot. And that cash pot changes every month. It could be $700,000. It could be $1 million, kind of whatever the case may be. And as books are downloaded through Kindle Unlimited, say, your kid downloads the book. My son downloads the book, and he flips through a couple pages of the book. As soon as he's reached a certain percentage of the book, I believe it's about 20-25% of the book, that they've gone through and read that book, because this also works in the regular ebook world where someone reads, say, 20% of your book that's available in limited program, then it goes down as a sale. And that sale, they take all the sales through the lending library and through the unlimited program for the month, and they say, okay, we had, for the sake of argument, there's $100 in this cash pot, and there was 100 sales. Each sale gets $1, to kind of put it in perspective that way. So you don't have a fixed amount that you're going to get per book per month. The range tends to fluctuate. A lot of people in the Select program find that they get royalties per sale, per one of these sales that counts towards the cash pot, of anywhere from around $1 to $2 per unit. So you don't have the exact numbers that you might like, that you would definitely like for a program like this, or like something like Oyster or Scribe or something like that would have, that are also subscription-based programs. But you do get some, and the idea is, especially on a kid's book, where they're so much shorter, for a kid to get in to that part to where it's going to count for a sale is going to be a whole lot faster than someone who's writing something a little bit more long form, like even a short story or a novel, whereas a kid might, flip through 2 or 3 pages and be on page 1 after the copyright page, title page, or whatever, and all of a sudden you've got that sale.
All right, so there you go. So, and I have a question about the unlimited. Now that rolled out 2 months ago, roughly, from Kindle.
Yeah, 2-3 months, something like that. Yeah.
And there has been a lot of controversy about it, because of the pooling. That was one of the things, and the exclusivity to it. So, what's been? Is there any solid numbers, or is this another secret thing?
There's not much that's coming out about it. Some authors will publish based on their sales rank, what they think the numbers are, but we don't know for sure.
Okay. Well, when you don't know, I guess you don't know. But I think for all our listeners, they need to decide. Amazon is the gorilla, especially if your books are primarily North America. You need to think about that. Our listeners who are out of the country, you need to make sure that you're playing with Kobo and some of the other animals out there. But Amazon certainly is in U.S. right now, so as the dominant player. So if you're willing to go along with that, at least to take advantage of maybe, Nick, what you do is, if you're going to buy the Kindle for the holidays, you download like crazy and get everything. There you
go.
But you have it for a year. But as the author yourself, maybe you don't want to have your book available all year long. Maybe you only want to do it for 3 months. So we have 2 sides that we have to look at. Am I right in looking at it this way?
You do, and the other coin to look at, especially in this scenario, with the kids program being unveiled, those Kids Fire HDs out of the box are not going to recognize other books that are not part of the Unlimited program, meaning your book isn't in Select. Those kids aren't even going to see the title if they have a Kids Fire HD unless the parents are changing things and they can get on the regular Kindle store. Since they can only see the free products that are on there in the kids category, they're not going to see any other titles. So in that way, they've made it very much so that your visibility is very dependent upon the Select program.
Mm-hmm. So is this, let's say I'm a new author, or I'm just playing around, just coming into the children's field. Would this be a time to kind of go into an acceleration mode and try to get a whole bunch of product out there?
Oh, yeah.
To actually flood the market and get your name going?
Oh, yeah. This is akin, the way I'm looking at this is like when ebooks first started getting big, right? We had to get enough devices out there for people to buy it. Mm-hmm. Those early adopting authors, hey, some of them brought in ridiculous amounts of money that came in. We have the same thing going on right now with kids' books. There's only so much inventory out there. It's got to be written. It's got to be illustrated. It's got to be published. Mm-hmm. As indies, we can work so much faster than a big house can. So, yes. And we're finally now part of the playing field. We're part of the playing field, and we have that advantage for the time being. So, yeah, if you're a children's author or an aspiring children's author, get your butt in a chair and get writing.
and if you're going to be doodling, get drawn, or you get someone to help you. But let me also make a suggestion to you. If you're talking about a strategy to flood the market and really brand and position yourself, one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do, because if you see these especially in the fiction authors, that they, as soon as they really establish themselves, they come out huge with their name on top. And so people will start looking, oh, it's the latest James Patterson, it's the latest David Baldacci, it's the latest, fill in the blank. And that what they do is they say, oh, I don't recognize this cover, so obviously I must not have it. One of the things I'm going to suggest to you is, unless you noodle over it as we go into our next break, is that put your name big on top. So you start branding. I am just such a crazy to try to get my authors to brand themselves, and that people will start, that they love your words, that they love your humor, your silliness, whatever it is, how you write, they will go in and get it. And for children's books, as we lead here, if you think of like R.L. Stein, everyone just buys those, and they just buy them by number now. So with that, we'll be right back. This is Judith Briles. It's Author You, your guide to
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Since 1987, Color House Graphics has set the standard for quality book production. Whether you decide to print a small quantity of books or need a large print run, depend on Color House to help you. You'll receive professional help and advice the moment you reach one of our representatives. If you mention hearing about us on your guide to book publishing with Judith Briles, we will provide you a discount on the first order you place. To speak with a project manager, call us toll-free at 800-454-1916 or visit us at www.colorhousegraphics.com.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, I have to just share a little bit our off the air conversation I had with Nick Taylor, because I had one of those aha moments, which I love aha moments to come in, and that it was dealing with the whole issue of my husband who writes poetry. And that but it's kind of, funky and fun and quirky. And he's got this whole thing going for kids right now. He had a beautiful poem, a book that was written, Have You Ever Held a Mountain, which has won multiple awards and is a gorgeous gift book. But he draws a little bit and he does that. So my aha that came in is John could have literally 26 little books, because as you know, kids' books, children's books are smaller. You're not talking about hundreds of pages. You're talking about, for a print book, you want 32 pages total so you can get a spine on that baby. But in the e-world, we're not worried about that, right, Nick?
Nope.
No. So he could whip up. He's already got all of them written, and he's got the capability of, here's someone whose dream as a kid was to work for Disney, but his parents derailed that and said, no, you don't want to be a cartoonist and an animator. But he's got that in his DNA. So he could whip that up and put it together. So I know what we're going to be talking about over dinner tonight. So
there you go.
There you go. All right. So let's jump into some of the other things. So I know, Nick, you've talked about that you're not a huge advocate of doing anything exclusively with anybody, but for this particular case, you're saying this would be something to certainly test the waters?
I think it'd be wise to, and it is only 90 days. The Select program can be hard for people who have established reader bases out there, and they come out with a new book. They don't want to exclude their Barnes & Noble fan, because this is the only place where this market is right now. I'm sure that'll change, but for right now, it's the only place where it is.
Yeah.
If that's where it's at, then that's where it's at. So it's one of those where, for this time, I will say it's probably worth giving a shot.
All right, so if you're going to play, this is where you want to start playing. All right, now I just mentioned that my hubby John can actually draw. But what if you were just, your numble fingers here and you don't have that skill, you don't have that vision? Nick, you've got a couple of places you like to recommend that people jump over to test the waters to see if they can find someone. What are those?
So a couple places. First, AuthorU's website. I didn't include that in my email this morning, but I'm sure AuthorU has some people that they have out there. But there's 3 other sites that I would definitely look at. One of them is called Fiverr. It's FIVERR.com. Fiverr is for very low-cost graphic solutions, but a lot of graphic designers, illustrators go in there, put something very cheap up there in the hopes for getting new clients. So if you go in there and look for illustrators, you can probably find some pretty good people. I know some authors who found some great illustrators on there. Another great resource, and this is one of my absolute favorite sites, it's called DeviantArt.com. DeviantArt.com. this has everything from 3D graphics to illustrations to hobbyists, whatever. They do have job boards on there where people can post that, where professional illustrators can find you or you can find them. There's a little bit more hunting around, but I'm going to tell you what, I can spend hours on the site. There's a lot of cool stuff on DeviantArt. And then another solution is a website called 99designs.com. You can post a project, say, this is my bid. This is how much I'm willing to pay. And people and graphic artists will come in and actually, say, well, this is what I would do it for, give you some samples or what have you. But for the kids' books, where a lot of times you're splitting costs on it, where the illustrator's picking up part of the risk and therefore getting part of the royalties, I think the Fivers and the DeviantArts are great. I mean, this is getting you connected, especially DeviantArt, getting you connected with people from all over the world. There's some amazing illustrators out there that do not charge anywhere near as much as someone who's living in the U.S. or some really expensive part of the U.S. You can get some amazing art at some great prices and connect with some pretty cool people at the same time.
I had one of my clients went to 99 Designs and picked up a young gal from Poland who did, and she was making a deck of cards, and gorgeous. She did gorgeous work. That that probably would have cost her close to $5,000 with the amount of work that was done. That was a fraction of it. That's all I'll say on there. It's a fraction of it. So you can do that, and so you're saying go ahead and say I'm willing to pay X amount, or they just come in and they bid on their site. How does that work?
So on like a 99 Designs, you're going to come in and say, here's my project. And you give a brief overview of your project and what you're looking for. And you say, this is the amount that I'm willing to pay. And a bunch of designers will either submit finished designs, especially like I know like on a cover art class, people usually submit near finished designs.
Yeah.
And you both say, I like these. And it goes down into a smaller bidding war. And then finally to where you award a contract to someone, and there's options where you can say, I'm not a guarantee that I'm going to pay someone, or I'm going to guarantee it, get different things, or something like I said on the DeviantArt, where on their job board, which gets a lot of activity, a lot of activity, you can say, I'm doing this, put your pitch for your book in there, especially if you're saying, I'm not going to pay you for it, I'm going to pay you in royalties instead, which sometimes happens, especially in like the manga and comic book and graphic novel arena, where you say, here's my book, here's my thing, here's what I'm going to do, who's willing to take this on? And people will respond by either private message you, so you have to have an account on DeviantArt, which is free. Either private message you or message you on there. You can look at their portfolio on the site. The site is built for portfolios. That's basically what it is, a big portfolio site. And so you can see what they're doing, see where they're from, see what kind of interaction they have with people. I definitely recommend somebody who's got some interaction, who has a good portfolio, those kind of things, and you can find some really great people. Some others that you can find if you just look for illustrations and whatever style on the search bar, you can find some people that'll then have commissions open where you can commission them to do something. I mean, I've seen some people do some just incredible art for really, really, really dirt cheap, in my opinion, dirt cheap, and it's just top-notch stuff I could never imagine doing.
Okay, so what's dirt cheap? Give us a range of what dirt cheap looks like.
I have seen people do, especially I'm an anime and manga fan. People do anime manga commissions from anywhere from $25 for full color, which should cost you a few hundred. And then I've seen some people who have had very high price, which is definitely worth it. Things where I've seen some illustrated covers, some illustrated images that have been in the thousands. So I mean, you really can get that range of. There's some people who will say, hey, building up my portfolio, building up whatever. I'll come in and I'll do your initial project for $5 or something like that, or $100, whatever the case may be. You will find the entire range there. You can probably find someone on DeviantArt that will do the work for you at whatever price range you're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Now, Nick, let me ask you, because you heard me say on the opening that I'm a big believer in having both print and e. So let's say we come in. Can we do this simultaneously? That you drop in that e and then you create the print, because I know a lot of kids like to, maybe they want to have the book as well. And I know a lot of parents, when I was talking to our big bookstore, Tattered Cover here in town. They had said last Christmas they saw a huge surge of parents coming and saying wanting the print book over the tablet.
Right. It's something you can definitely do in conjunction, and I think if you have the resources to do that, sure. I think having print and e is always a fantastic idea. So, it's something you can do. You know, there's a whole gamut of ways of going to print with these things, and if you have the means and abilities or whatever resources you need to get that done, I would definitely recommend it.
Okay, so we've talked about, here's your platform. You can go up. Probably you want to use the Kindle on everyone. I'm going to see, I don't know if there's going to be a flood away from iBooks I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. But that having, and for our authors who are creating books, and a great idea, Nick, of really flooding here, coming in first and flooding with that and creating a surge. And then we've got options, Fiverr.com, DeviantArts.com, and 99designs.com. A couple of other illustrators I like quite a bit is Don Seidel, S-I-D-L-E, DonSeidel.com. And sometimes Shannon Parrish, SHANNONPARISH.com can have some really good fun kids and related cartoons, illustrations that you can use very quickly. So there's 5 options for you to go to add to your art. Remember, over 70% of the world is visual, and so you really need to have good art to tie with that. All right, so we got a book. We're up, and we got about a couple of minutes left in this segment, and then we'll have our final segment. So, Nick, let's talk about marketing a little bit. How do we move these books? How do we let the world know that we've got something that's better than sliced bread?
Okay, there's a whole range of going to market, but on the ebook, the route that I'm going to go down on this one is there are some very, very, very powerful sales sites that are out there. One of the biggest ones is called BookBub. And BookBub is a paid-for service, and they're an actual email marketing company where people sign up and say, I want to learn about books in X genre. And you can say, I want to submit my book to be advertised on this date. And BookBub has a whole bunch of brackets of what the book is going to be priced at, what the discount range is going to be. If you're saying, hey, it's one of my free days, it's going to be this, it's going to be, I'm discounting it down to $2.99 or whatever the case may be.
Okay, now all right, I want you to hold that thought. Yeah, hold that thought. We need to run into our break here. So let's do that. And also when we come back, let's talk about pricing. What's it cost to get on Club and all that. All right, this is Judith Briles. Nick Taylor is with me. We're talking ebooks and what you can do to create them as well as market them. It's Author U, your guide to book publishing. We'll be right back.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today, 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207, or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at My Book Shepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right. We've got a book. It's an ebook. Whether it's for kids or adults, we're just going to now talk about eWorld. What do we need to do to get those out there so people will scramble to buy them? What sources? Nick started talking about BookBub. Let's go back and hit back on BookBub, Nick.
All righty. So in the break, I actually pulled up BookBub's latest pricing and statistics page. To kind of put you a little bit in perspective, I've got their top number one category is mysteries. They have people who are subscribed to the mysteries email list are you ready for it? 1.7 million users.
Whoa!
So you do this for 300, say you have a book going for a free day. And they have to approve your book, which we can talk about that, but say they approve your book, which isn't overly hard to get done. It's $320. The average downloads is 29,500 units. That's on a free book.
Okay, so say it again. For a free book, is how much?
On the mysteries, their average downloads is 29,500 units. The range goes generally from 11,500 to 46,000 downloads.
Okay,
That's
so
a lot of books.
It's huge. So let me ask you this, because authors do ask, well, is this downloads through, is it connected to Amazon, or is it just through BookBub and it's all by itself?
It's all by itself. It's not an Amazon service. They will also do advertisements and campaigns for Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and those places as well.
They do. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And they have several different tiers where you have books that are free, books that are under $1, books that are between $1 and $2, and books that are over $2. There's different prices depending on the genre or their category in which of those options you go with. To, again, put it in the mystery slot. If a book is over $2, it's $1,600 to run the campaign, which seems like a lot, but the average unit sold is 2,700 books when that email goes out. This puts you on a chart. Guaranteed this puts you on a chart. And that's a lot of units. If you're figuring you're getting $2 a pop, you're pulling in quite a bit of money for your $1,600 there. But you do have to get your book approved by BookBub in order to do it.
Okay, so is this on the mystery channel we're talking about here?
This is still in the mystery. Yeah, it's just the top one, so it's the one I have highlighted.
So if mystery, you're saying the average, and the cost to do that push for the paid side, you said was $1,600. Did I hear that?
Yeah, if you have a book that's under $1, it's $640. A book that's between $1 and $2, it's $960. So I mean, they have it very clearly. You know what you're going to be paying, and about what you can expect to see.
Got it. So then what I would see is that if you priced it at $2 or $1.99 special, we just do a special one-shot shootout, and so you're going to pay $960, and if the average is $2,700, and I'm going to be coming in just under $2, my math tells me, my crude math is roughly $5,400, and I spent $960. Okay, all right, I see the return.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, it's a very good return. They do wonderfully well.
All right, and then so what are the other big topic areas? Mystery is number one. What else?
We got contemporary romance that has just over 1 million subscribers, and then historical fiction that's actually very, very similar. Then thrillers, getting down in historical, erotica, has some other big categories in here. You have teen and young adult, 300,000 people. Fantasy, obviously near and dear to my heart, being a fantasy author. There's 790,000 people who are subscribed to that list. And the prices are going to vary, again, as you're doing it. So, we looked at the example of the over $2 book being $1,600 to market. That mystery book, the fantasy, which has about half the subscribers,
Nick,
it's only 700 to do it. So
let me ask you this: is there a sweet spot price? I mean, Amazon says the latest data I saw in the eWorld was $3.99 was the sweet spot for fiction. I'm not talking about nonfiction, but for fiction. $3.99. Whether it's going down, I don't know, or whether it's changed or gone up, I don't know. I do know that when I have gone in and looked at some of the prices, that for some of the more popular ones or named people, for example, when we went overseas during the summer, we were in Europe for 3 weeks. That I loaded up John's reader because he's all into the Jack Reacher books.
Okay.
All right, so I loaded up, and nothing was under $5.99. Nothing.
Right.
All right. So, in looking at that kind of thing, I think if I was a new author, I think one of my strategies might be to maybe try to push out a $1 or a $1.50 book. People will kiss off $1. I don't know what the mentality is, but maybe they'll kiss off $1 and just try something, figuring it doesn't break the bank if something new comes along, and invest the $600. And listen to me, everyone. I'm saying invest, because this is a strategy. You have to do investments in your marketing, and invest in this strategy that, number one, if I can move 600 books or 640, whatever the number was, the cost for the $1 price. What was it?
Are we looking at on the mystery for $1 book at $640, and you move around 2,700 units?
Okay, so if I invest $1, I invest $640, and if it rooms 2,700, basically that's a 4-to-1, and so I've gotten my money back. Let me tell you, I do that all day long, and that strategy could go in very lucrative, and I don't think a lot of authors think about this. Maybe I just need to go do a rabbit hole here and push that way, and don't worry about Amazon or whatever, and play this game. And let me ask you this. Let me come into, since fantasy is your what you write in, there's not 1.7 million people who subscribe to that. You said it was roughly 700,000?
790,000.
Okay, so just shy of 800,000. And what would be the cost difference in going down that rabbit hole?
So if I was going to do that, what was the 99-cent, under $1 book, it'd be $280 to move about 1,200 units.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting a pretty good conversion on this.
Absolutely. I think that's a great strategy for people to start thinking about and going into that. So I guess for all our listeners, it would be a good idea to subscribe. Become a subscriber of BookBub. So you can see what's coming along, and you can get the feel of what's happening. And assuming they have a newsletter or e-zine, that you can see what's happening in the world before you jump in. But I think it's intriguing. It's intriguing.
It's a great service.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about, we have about 4 minutes left. Let's talk about Goodreads.
Okay.
All right. So what are the pros and cons, and how can we leverage them?
So the pros of Goodreads, especially a Goodreads giveaway, in particular, where you get a lot of push here. The pros of a good Goodreads giveaway is, in my experience and in most people I've talked to's experience, you generally get reviews out of that giveaway book. Out of however many units give away, you usually get that many reviews back on both Goodreads and a lot of times Amazon and other places too, which is great because BookBub has requirements. They want to make sure a book is decent before they pass it out to their people. So you can use Goodreads giveaways to get those reviews to be able to get the power of something of a BookBub or other services like it. And there's a whole bunch of them that are out there. Some of the cons of a Goodreads giveaway is when people enter a giveaway, they don't go out and buy the book because they're waiting to get it. And if Goodreads notified people that they didn't win the giveaway and to go buy the book, it'd be fantastic. But unfortunately, Goodreads doesn't. If you don't win a giveaway, you don't get notified. So you just have yet another book in your to-read shelf. And as an author, the other con is I don't get I don't get the contact information. I can't reach out to those people who didn't win. I only get the mailing addresses for the people who won. So those are the cons. But on the other side, if I say I'm going to come in and say I'm going to give away 20 books, 20, 30 books, whatever, I can go on there. I can get a lot of people who are interested in my book who are then going to enter this giveaway, and I'll give out 20 or 30 copies, which hopefully people spread out and tell people and friends and family about. But the biggest thing is you're probably going to get reviews, and when other people go to your Amazon, Goodreads page, those librarians, whoever go there, and your book is reviewed and is getting hopefully reviewed well, which, you know, that's just as having a good book. But a lot of different reviews on there, it really makes your book look stronger.
All right, so, and then one other goodie, because we're almost out of time here, is that people need to realize, and I did a wonderful interview with the president of one of the library associations. Librarians do not go to Amazon to read reviews. Guess where they go? They go to Goodreads. So they want to see what consumers are saying, what real readers are. They want to look at the chatter. And when they're adding to their collection, I think that's, something to really think about. All right. So, Nick, we are out of time. We obviously have to do this again. We are not done. We have so much more to talk about. We need to do a whole show on blogger giveaways, how to bundle, and come back to this whole marketing world because, the internet is the town hall for marketing. I've said this for a long time, and the more you shy away from it, I had one author in my office that I just said, you got to do this, and he just held his head in his hand, and I just said, get over it. Here's where we go. So, Nick, thanks for being with me.
Thank you for having me on.
You're on, and this is Author You, Your Guide to Book Publishing. I'm Judith Briles. We'll be back next week. Have a fabulous week.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Each week,